Hello and welcome back to the Mole Valley Maker channel. In this video I'm going to be turning a small piece of cherry. It's going to be some sort of form, I'm not really sure what you call this. Could just be a bowl really. Yeah, it's got some natural edge. As you can see the piece is affixed to the lathe between centres. It's in bowl orientation. I'm just starting by gradually working the corners away on the bottom side. This piece has a couple of problems. One is that I tried initially to put a hole for a worm screw in it, failed dismally at that, and also because of the orientation, although you can't see it here, on the other side is a knot with some rot in it from obviously a branch that's come off. So I'm left with a hole at rather a peculiar angle, which you can just see there. Later on I deal with that. As you can see, there's also quite a few cracks which I have to deal with. As you saw there, it stops occasionally, or I have to keep tightening up against the step centre. At the moment I'm just trying to work off the cut edges. I swap between a few tools, trying to find a gouge that works well on it, because it's quite hard on the ends. Coming back to a fingernail grind on a standard Robert Sorby 13mm gouge. And when Chery cuts, it cuts really nice. It's a really lovely wood to work with. Now I'm coming in from the other side here to try and maintain the bark, but actually the bark is stuck on pretty well. I'm continuing to work away at it to get a kind of shape I want, because there's some rather flat sides at the moment. And the bark is, really want to get the bark down a little bit. It's not perfectly symmetrical, as you'll see at the end. And there are some holes that go all the way through the pit. And here's me starting to deal with the hole, and I'm just filling that with shavings and super glue. I've pushed the boat out with this one using really high-end super glue. I'm using no-nonsense super glue from Screwfix. Costs $1.99 for a 50 milliliter bottle. And here I'm trying, for the pith, I'm actually filling it with tea grounds, not coffee grounds, tea leaves, or tea powder really. And although they say super glue is quick drying, you know, they really are lying. It may dry where it's exposed to the air, but inside after a cut, it definitely isn't dry. I'm trying to take a reasonably fine cut here down the length of the piece to get the super glue shavings. You see the cherries coming off in quite nice shavings. It's around this point I'm thinking, that's a bit liquid. You can see there on the top of the picture the glue's still wet. So I think at that point I'll go and have some lunch and let it dry properly. There we go, another cut. Lovely shavings. Just pop some more sawdust into that bigger crack. That was me running out of one bottle of super glue and changing to another. This is ultra thin super glue. It's not actually the top end Screwfix brand. It's an eBay brand. Again, decent time letting it dry. Barry out with a nice light cut. Just trying to take the finest of cuts. I'm still not getting a complete circumference of a cut, so it's the tool is still bouncing a bit. Now starting work on the tenon. And here it is flipped around, and you've got a very brief glimpse of the knot. The piece is still reasonably out of balance because of the just varying densities, so I'd probably never get much over 500 revs. Outside of the knot. This is just a question of slowly working your way down. The knot itself causes a lot of problems because it bounces the tool, because there's a much harder density of that part compared to the wood I'm cutting here now. And again, I try a variety of different tools. This is another Robert Silby 13mm gouge, one of the Excelsior, but it's just got a different grind on it. And then back to the standard 13mm gouge. I've got a much shorter handle on the standard 13mm gouge, so it's much easier to work when you're over the bed like that. And then I finally give up and decide to use a Forstner bit to take some chunks out of the centre. You can see how far that knot goes into the piece. Again, I experiment with using all sorts of different tools. Still with the bowl gouge at the moment. And there's some really nice shavings coming out, but yeah, that knot is causing me a lot of bounce. And then Simon Hope Pro Hollower, just to try and get past that knot really. And back to the oh, that's a, yeah, I've changed to a Simon Hope 3/8 gouge there, the double-ended gouge with the fingernail grind on the side I'm using. And then I think I've switched to the standard grind. Again, it's just trying to experiment to find out which one works. I kind of cramped over the lathe a little bit as well, the camera's a little bit in the way. We're getting close to having some sort of finished interior. Pretty much there. I've just got to get the dimple from the Forstner bit out of the centre. I also want to get past the knot that's laying at the bottom, the darker coloured wood, as much as I can. It's starting to go. There's another crack on the inside, you can just see. In an effort to try and get rid of that dimple without going through the bottom, I've now broken out a gouge and then a couple of other carbide tools. You can now see the patched wormhole. But that was basically it for the machine. That's all sanded. And I finished it with sanding sealer and a soft wax, so it gives a satin finish. And here I've got it up against the block of wood and a piece of non-slip router matting. I'm just trying to work it away with a small gouge, I think 6 or 7mm, whatever size the 1/4 inch is. A little bit of sanding. If you follow my Instagram at all, you'll have noticed that I've posted some other pictures of some stuff I've done with bits of branch wood. This was the largest piece. But again, it's just about experimenting, because branch wood is easier to get hold of than the bigger pieces, and there's still quite a lot you can do with it. I'm actually using a spindle gouge here, because just a more acute angle, and then just sanding the bottom up. I'd just like to thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to all my subscribers. Please consider subscribing if you're not. And here's a few photographs of the final piece. Thanks very much. See you on the next video.